I gotta wait
No
till the
worries. Good thing the weekend's ahead, you can rest.
Probably not.
Oh.
Yeah. Um, so were you going to switch over the controls this way?
Josh? I think Josh is the presenter.
Is it me?
Or,
It's.
no, I
I
think
think
John
it's
has,
this year.
I don't have control.
I'm looking here.
Looks like I am the presenter. I guess maybe I just have to click show my screen.
Yes, indeed. That is the key.
All right. Are you looking at it now then? Are you looking at my screen now?
Trying to find it.
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Okay, well, I'd imagine you're all somewhat familiar with ideascale. The back end is sure to look familiar, as it's mostly the same as Question Pro and Survey Analytics. So maybe I could just give you an overview of the functionality and some of the things users can customize and can't. In terms of the look and feel of the website, it's probably a little more customizable than Survey Analytics or Question Pro. We allow for CSS customization of, it's kind of like a blog or anything like that, where you can customize the theme with CSS. So we'll take a look at a few of those customizations in a few minutes. We all following along?
I'm following John.
I'm following.
Okay. So we use this use case, this Dunder Mifflin Paper Company use case for our demos. The Dunder Mifflin account is an internal example of ideascale, whereas you can have two types of ideascales basically: internal use for inter-office, interdepartmental, interagency use, and then everything else like external, public, feedback type portals. So this, what we're looking at, is an internal use case. Do you guys foresee running through demos yourselves for clients, or do you think you would just push them our way and we would be doing the demos?
I would say that we would be on to most of our customers, I would say that we would introduce the idea of ideascale. We would have the initial conversation with them to find out what they're using it for, and immediately from there, most likely having a conversation with you to determine, if we could meet their needs. Because I sincerely doubt we're just going to have someone that says, hey, I want to buy ideascale. How much is it? Can you send me a contract? Or can you give me a demo? It's going to be more like, hey, I have this idea. Can you guys do it? And then we'll be like, oh, maybe ideascale would be a good fit for you. Let me put you in touch with a specialist, and we'll figure
And I
it
think
out.
on a lot of levels, this is really good for us to go over, but I think on a lot of levels, this is, we can basically sell this with the idea of it, Like, for example, I was on a call yesterday, and a lady was asking for exactly what this is, and I explained to her what it was, sent her the website link, and then, we've talked about it back and forth, and maybe the next step will be a demo with you, but ultimately, I think it's somewhat pretty straightforward when you're looking at it at a higher level, very simple, single to a couple of users type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I
Yeah.
want to interject on that as well. From an account standpoint, that we would make a recommendation and bring in an expert. Uh, John, I'll bring you in to, sweeten the deal. But from our standpoint, we just want to really get to know it. And if our clients are planning on use it, which I know I've already pitched it to several people, and they're interested down the road. And for us to at least have a working knowledge of it, so if they have very easy questions, we can answer, um, from this account management standpoint.
Yep. Okay. So for now, it's not like you're going to be bundling this as a value add. It's more case by case. If the customer actually asks for something along the lines of idea scale, you'll pitch it their way.
Or it's more like a suggestion, like
Yeah.
if it's
Yeah.
something they're interested in, because we're in the process of going into more of a cross-selling sort of model.
Mhm.
So that's kind of where we're headed.
Cool. Okay. Sounds good. So, I mean, I guess I probably don't need to get as granular as I would on a customer demo then, but maybe just keep it to an overview of some of the core capabilities. So let's do that. Um, so stop me if I'm going too fast or you're not understanding anything at any point. Um, Similar to Question Pro, ideascale incorporates custom fields, and that's one way we differentiate ourselves from some of the other um, players in the idea management space. So when you click the new idea button, similar to creating a new question type in Question Pro, I guess, you have all these. I guess, well, it's not really a wizard because this is the only screen to it. It's just this lightbox screen where you get the basic information of an idea. And if custom fields weren't set up, you would only have this left column. But because custom fields are configured on the admin end of ideascale, we have these supplementary details on the right. And that's additional information that people can call into the idea submission area, as well as they could use it on user registration as well. So when a user is registering, you can collect additional information there. So I won't bother submitting an idea right now, but basically we have idea, the title, description, categories um, that ideas get sorted into. They're created by the customer. Those are unlimited. I should say what is unlimited. Um, Users are unlimited. Categories are unlimited. Tags are unlimited. Uh, Comments and attachments are unlimited. The only things that aren't unlimited are the number of communities users can set up with a single license and the number of moderators they can have on a single license. So depending on license type, excuse me, depending on license type, and we are in the midst of restructuring the license scheme right now, um, the users can have a varying number of moderators. I think I think we're going to open it up to unlimited moderators just to remain competitive with some of the competitors in the space like User Voice and Get Satisfaction. Uh, and we have done a good amount of work with tags. I'll show you that when we go back out to the idea screens. You guys pretty much understand the how custom fields work in idea scale?
No.
No?
Sorry, I was on mute.
It's okay. I should.
I'm pretty familiar with it just from our last one. I'm not sure if Esther or Gretchen. Maybe
Yeah, if you
once
could
you
go
ask
over
a
it, that'd be
question, you
nice.
guys can type something if you're on mute.
Okay, sure. So the idea is that only a cursory amount of information is collected on the idea submission form. But what if you wanted to collect information on the idea like what division or branch the idea is coming from, or the zip code is coming from. That information you can pull in via custom fields, which are set up on the back end that appear here when the user is submitting an idea. They're prompted to submit this information with their idea. And the usefulness of this comes into play when you are exporting your data and analyzing it. You can segment by things like state or region or branch or office. So that, if you only wanted to look at ideas from people in the sales department, you can isolate those and just take a closer look, drill down into those specific ideas. As well, in the email center, you can direct emails to a specific group. For instance, if there's been a flutter of activity in the sales category or the sales group in ideascale, you'd be able, with custom fields, to send an email to that sales group. So this information can come in on the idea level as well as the user level. So in terms of custom fields coming in on the user level, it's when the user is registering that they would get prompted for this information. And likewise, it's good to have that just to be able to, it's mostly good for reporting and direct emailing. So hopefully that helps. In terms of customization, let's just have a couple looks at some nice CSS designs. This one is an ideascale site. You can see the URL, Calgary 2012. It's for a cultural celebration in Calgary next year. And this top part was all done, this is all done with the CSS customization, which is available at the corporate license level. And when you scroll down the page, it's only like below the fold that we get to the core of the ideascale framework. And you can't really, we don't allow for ideascale to be set into iframes or framed in other web pages. It has to run, from our site on our pages, and
How are people, John,
yeah.
how then are they promoting this? Are they putting it on their website as a link too, or how are they like getting people to come here?
Well, this is a good example here because the Join Us page goes back to Calgary 2012, and the Ideas click is right here. It's not necessarily on their nav bar, but
Okay.
when you click your ideas, which is prominently featured, it goes to ideascale.
Okay.
Now, the next logical question here is, isn't it a problem that we're going off-site to a foreign domain? And our response to that is allowing the customer the capability of customizing their URL, customizing their domain. So instead of Calgary 2012, if they wanted to cough up some more dollars here, or you know what, I mean, they might even be at the proper license level and not realize it's a capability, or maybe they just choose not to do it. Calgary 2012, let's look at what their website is. So if I click their button here, I go to calgary2012.com. What they could have done is calgary2012.com/ideas, and really that's what they should be doing. Custom domain was something we were holding to our enterprise license level customers until this recent shift in our licensing, which now opens up custom domain aliasing to all customers above or at or above our corporate license level. I should note that in a couple of weeks, or as soon as we can get all this stuff into, once we can modify our code and put the proper license links on things, we're going to have a new price scheme where the language of our existing licenses is gone, and all we'll have is free, monthly, annual, and enterprise. So free is an existing account type we have now. We're getting rid of our $15 a month web professional. We're changing the name of our corporate monthly to just monthly. We're changing the name of our corporate annual to just annual. And enterprise will be as it was. Not really. We haven't decided yet whether we're going to put it on the main pages yet. But what will be on the main pages is three options: free, monthly, annual, and maybe enterprise. So, in terms of the clients you're bringing in, I would think that most of them are potential enterprise clients, but the corporate annual would probably be as low as you would want to pitch them. That's assuming you're going to be providing them a rate sheet or any type of pricing info in their introduction. I don't know if you want to go that far.
With the customer I talked to yesterday, I clicked on the link, or I gave them the website, ideascale.com, and then I just told her for the corporate it's $1,000 for a year. Is that right?
Yeah, it is, and it will be. It will continue to be. However, we're adding more to that corporate annual. So I was just talking about custom domains.
Yeah.
Previously available only at the enterprise level. They're going to be thrown into annual corporates.
Okay, cool.
Likewise, single sign-on might be another big piece to pitch to your clients. Do you work with single sign-on as it is at Survey Analytics?
Yeah, like single user license?
No. Single sign-on, anyone? No?
What's the difference? I guess I don't know.
Single sign-on refers to an authentication system that allows for users to be logged into ideascale when they're logged into their corporate intranet. So with maybe Microsoft has an internal intranet and they want to set up an ideascale. If they set up an ideascale, their users wouldn't have to log into ideascale. They would already be authenticated by virtue of them being on their own internal network. So
I'm not familiar with that, Esther.
Yeah.
I don't think we really work with that.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. So that was in the sales role here, I was a little disappointed that a couple of my key, pitchable enterprise features were being taken out of enterprise and thrown into the lower priced and corporate license. Like, I kind of felt like shit. Well, what do we have to pitch enterprise customers then if all of our good stuff is in corporate? The idea is that we got to remain competitive, and we will sell a lot more corporate licenses with these features in it. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
What it comes down to is I wasn't selling a lot of enterprise licenses by selling those features, so maybe they weren't really that much of a selling point or a saleable checkbox.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess that's ideascale sales stuff. It might be helpful to you for some reason, but it's probably not what I should be telling you about right now. But those are a couple of. I think how we got off on that tangent was by discussing CSS customization, which is only available at corporate level, and then that got into the whole custom domain thing, which is a pretty cool, pretty sellable point that a lot of users are concerned with when they want to integrate ideascale with their existing website and brand identity. So when we submitted that, when we looked at that new idea submission form, we saw categories, and here we'll see those same categories. And if I clicked on one of them, I would just get a sort for ideas of that category. We can create date ranges for idea categories, so ideas can graduate, kind of expire after a certain time limit. Like this Infinity '09 is obviously an initiative or a campaign that was run in '09, so now it's kind of sidebarred here in expired categories. We have social integrations, Facebook like button. We have a Facebook app that I can show you. We also have a Twitter integration. The Facebook app, here's the broadband.gov idea scale. This was for the broadband initiative that was collecting ideas on a national level for the implementation of a national ideas to bring broadband internet to the entire country. So the idea community is now closed, but it's still up. It's still live. It's just not collecting new ideas or votes. And they implemented the Facebook app, which looks like this. So if you just look at these ideas here, 297, 175, when we flip over to the Facebook app, you'll see those same vote counts, right? So it pretty much just ports all the information into Facebook where we have our own tab. And that's very easy. All you have to do is just give it requires you to have a page in Facebook, not like a personal account, but a actual page for your company or whatever. And then you just plug in your credentials and create the tab. And that tab can say whatever you want it to. Any questions so far?
Not for me. That's good.
Okay. So let's see. So I'm logged in right now as a moderator, and we can look at the community two ways as a moderator. We can look at like the normal view as we're looking at it, or I can click up here to moderator and click to the moderation view. And the moderation view will show us what ideas are pending moderation. This instance of idea scale is set to a higher moderation level so that the ideas don't go public right away when they're posted and contributed. They go to a pending status where the moderator has to actually change their status and graduate them to active. So right now this idea is pending. I would have to click moderate as a moderator and change the status here. I'm not going to change it because I like to have one pending idea in the pending queue for demo purposes. But you know, this is like this is a super this is core to idea scale. These three tabs right here: in review, in progress, and in complete, because these are all actionable ideas or potentially actionable. So it's important to impart to the contributors and people voting on these ideas that there's actually something being done with them. And it's by means of these status changes that users can actually track and monitor the status of an idea in its process of implementation. A lot of customers are concerned with abuse at the community, or if it's not abuse, it's just like ideas that are either lame or just don't are off topic, not quite off topic enough to be deleted, especially when there's free speech issues involved. So we have a moderation level called off topic, which just kind of shelves things and it puts them not in the activity stream of the home page, but in this off topic category area over here. So kind of like sidelined. For concerns about, if you're presenting some ideas, so idea scale to a customer, and they have concerns about security or gaming of the system, like people like spamming or trying to get away with illegal voting and stuff like that. We have an entire document devoted to that, and we like to just try to not go into that conversation and just send them the document because there's a world of stuff that you can do. We don't really feel the need to defend ourselves against all these, like, a lot of customers have these paranoid ideas about um, all the offensive stuff that's going to come into a community, and we rarely have any problems. So we tend not to spend too much time talking about that on calls. We have a document called support and security we like to send. We also have a number of case studies that might be helpful to prospective customers when you're mentioning idea scale. So based on their industry, for instance, we have a couple of case studies devoted to mobile stuff. We have a case study that we usually forward to any prospective government clients. It's our VA case study. That was one of our most that was our probably our biggest idea scale community, most successful. We're proud of that one. There's a number of others. They are at ideascale.com/resources if you're looking for more information about that. So getting back to the on-screen stuff, I'll click into a live idea just to show you what that looks like. We should take longer lunches. Seems like a good idea. You can see that it has a number of tags here. The moderator can add tags, and tags can be created and deleted here in the sidebar. One thing that we're really psyched about is our leaderboard. So from the left nav, there's view our top contributors. And when I click on this, I get to the leading point earners in this community, which are generally the people who generate the most ideas. But Michael Scott's in the lead here just because he's commented and voted on so many things. He's accrued 277 points. He's also earned a couple badges by creating an account. He's earned the newbie badge, and also this blue badge is the moderator badge assigned to just moderators. We're pitching this user reputation model pretty heavily. There's a ton of work still to be done on it, though, so that's what it is. It's pretty much limited to these these badges right here for now, but we're working aggressively at creating more badges and bulking that up. I think you probably understand the huge popularity of sites like Foursquare, and we're trying to get into that as much as possible and offer more of a social community style idea management than some of our other competitors. Like they're not doing any badge stuff yet, and we're trying really hard to beat them to it. Any questions? Nope.
Nope.
I guess you're all on mute. All right. Yeah, I don't. I think I'm. I think I've pretty much covered the front end. I mean, I could get into the back end, but it's probably mostly familiar to you. I mean, check it out. It looks a lot like Question Pro and Survey Analytics on the back end. Same style, tabs and sidebar. Uh, so I guess unless there's any questions,
Did you go over reports specifically? No? Can you ask that?
None for me. This is interesting. Thank you.
What's the reporting
you're
side like
welcome.
on the back end?
Not too robust. Here's what we do have. That's not the answer I give customers, by the way. uh, we have a reporting tab. This one's a little crunked because there are too many weeks here. I mean, this is the idea. We're right now, the back end that I'm showing you is not the Dunder Mifflin. It's the idea scale. Idea scale's own idea scale, which is probably the oldest among them. So there's so many weeks that the view of this report is jammed. To be honest, I don't know why. I mean, we use this as an example in our demos because it's probably the most robust and has the most numbers, but this view is a little whack.
Okay.
So this is the idea view. This is ideas. Well, actually, this is users. The second one is ideas, week by week, and comments, votes. I think the real value of the reporting we have is in the exported data. So you can export data in Excel and CSV and XML as well. You could data filter it by date range and by category. And I think, the real value of the reporting lies in what the customer does with it on their end post, after they take it out of idea scale. So, it's kind of limitless with what you can do with the data out of idea scale. We just don't offer a ton of stuff to do with it internally. And that's partly because we're not, we don't emphasize the analytics of idea scale. We're more about the idea generation, the getting users back to the community and keeping them engaged. Obviously, a lot of the stuff I talked about were features designed with the idea of creating more participation in the community. So it's not that we don't care about reporting. It's just I don't think it's our strong suit.
So when an idea is done and say 500 people voted on it, where do you see where they voted if they liked it or didn't like it?
That's back out on the main page. When you click all ideas, this is an active site right now, and
Oh, okay.
these are the counts. I guess I've voted on every one of them. Oh, here's what I haven't voted on. So that's what it looks like pre-voting.
So then for the administrator to see like all 500, like if they agreed or disagreed?
Yeah, I understand. So like a breakdown of the actual number. That's
Yeah.
actually yeah, you can get that out of reporting. It would be in the report, not in a not presented visually.
Oh.
There's another style of voting called poker chip, and it involves a distribution of quote-unquote poker chips or chips at the beginning of a user's sign up. So they have maybe 20 chips, and they can choose how they use those chips. So if they like one idea a heck of a lot, they can drop all their chips on that idea. Likewise, if they like 10 ideas equally, they can distribute their chips among those ideas equally. The problem you're talking about, how do you know how many votes were up and down? Like, does 5 votes necessarily mean 5 up votes? No, it could mean 10 up votes and 5 down votes. So that line is even further blurred with this poker chip style voting. Um, but I think it all comes to make sense in the export of data. One thing I didn't mention is the attachments on an idea. You can attach images and files to ideas. I'm going to delete this Santa image and I'm going to attach a PDF. So I'll just browse to it. And what's cool about attaching PDFs is how they come in. They don't come in as file names. They come in as rendered files right in line. So you're able to view them. And if they're supporting documentation or an idea, you're able to look at the idea, look at the actual PDF. You can even scroll through pages of it. You can even full screen it. And then cast your vote. How are we doing?
Good. So the only way to see from the administrator's point of view, like how many agreed, basically who won the vote, agree or disagree, is by exporting data.
Well, no, I mean you're looking at it right here. If there's votes in the positive, that means people like the idea more than not.
Okay, but number-wise.
Yeah, it's hard to see volume-wise the number of votes, but you can probably get it. Oh, one means of determining that is a status called hot or popular. This popular right here denotes high volume ideas. So that doesn't tell you exactly how many votes or how popular an idea is, but it determines the ideas on this popular tab are the ones that are most heavily voted upon.
Okay.
Any other questions? Nope.
That's all for me.
Did you guys want to? I'm not sure. I've ever. I don't know if I've ever had an opportunity to pitch survey analytics, and I'm just wondering if this relationship here is meant to be reciprocal. If I should be, or if I could be, pitching survey analytics, or when I should be. Do you have any ideas
I think
as
so.
to how I might be able to help you?
Yeah, I mean overall we're still planning to do as much cross selling as possible. You know, we scratch your back, you scratch ours. So you can just ask them casually, even with your existing accounts or whoever's doing account managing, just to mention, are you guys using a survey tool right now? Because we're fully integrated with survey analytics and so on and so forth. So you can just ask them casually and be like, "Oh, really? That's so cool!" And show me how to do it, and then you can bring Josh or Gretchen in.
Yeah. What's to be said for our integration? Does that exist?
We can pretend it exists, right?
Yeah. It exists when someone shows Jeremy $10,000 to make it exist.
It'll happen someday. It will, but I do know I was able to build like a survey for I don't know who it was, but it's Fiserv. I think they have ideascale and survey analytics where after they took the survey, it automatically redirects them over to an ideascale, the ideascale whatever website. So I
Right.
love that. So we're calling that as an integration. It's not really an integration, but it's definitely a wow factor people really like. So like you can say, well, after people answer some questions, maybe you can solicit them to add a survey, and you can just pop that somewhere. I don't know where you would add it, or where do they redirect after they're done taking a survey or answering or voting? Where do they go?
Right.
And we can have it to where after they're done voting up and down and giving an opinion, then you can redirect them to a survey or entice your customers to do that.
Right. Well, yeah, we could definitely do that. Cool.
That's all for me.
Yeah, I think that's all for now. And John, I'm pretty busy today, but if we can talk maybe next week about setting up a webinar for ideascale, and so you guys can, uh, you know, introduce and start uh, panhandling your stuff over to Question Pro and Survey Analytics clients. I think that's really going to help generate a lot of leads all around.
So what is the idea there? You'd bring in customers and
Yeah,
we'd be pitching to.
you were just gonna talk about like how to use a crowdsourcing tool. We'll make some really interesting thing. Like, do you have ideas? Do you know how to sort or organize your ideas or something?
Yeah.
How to sort your ideas in market research, and then we can show people how they can use ideascale and survey analytics, cohesively. But I really want to focus on what you guys do. So I think that just to get people, really excited about it, just kind of like this. I really like the Calgary 2012. I think that's pretty badass, and we should definitely show that off or make something similar to it, so people over in Question Pro and Survey Analytics wants to buy your stuff.
Mhm. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, just try to give us a heads up, of at least a few days as to the topic being discussed and.
Yeah, I'll give you. I mean,
Yeah.
we usually give you a whole month, so don't
Oh,
worry. I'll be
good.
working with you on that.
Okay. Good. Sounds good.
Alrighty.
And we